Welcome to number 26 of our episodes.
Yeah, there's the enthusiasm we've been needing.
Last time my energy was so lame.
I honestly think that we do better not in the morning.
Yeah.
So, and like last episode was literally a two-parter, as in like April recorded her story one day and then we stopped, and then I recorded my story the next day, and both recordings we did in the morning. So I think both of us were just like, okay, gotta find the energy somewhere.
I just don't have any in the morning. I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not a morning person unless you have like a ton of coffee in front of me, or if I have a ton of coffee in me, then I'm fine.
What are you drinking?
This is the new Mountain Dew flavor called Shark Bite. Have you heard of it?
No.
Have you heard?
No.
It doesn't say like what the flavor is, but there are a lot of chemicals and dyes in it.
Oh, nice.
And
super tasty.
Yeah, but look.
Oh,
there's a shark on it. Oh,
nice.
Frostbite, not Shark Bite.
Hey.
And I'm mixing it with vodka.
Oh.
So, Pinnacle Whipped.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I have, and this is Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee motherfucking butter pecan.
Butter pecan.
So good.
Butter pecan.
Yeah.
So pecans are nuts, right?
Yes.
So they just doused them in butter and roasted it into your coffee, and then I put on ice.
I assume that's the logic behind that. I couldn't tell you. But have you had butter pecan ice cream?
Long time ago when we were children.
It's the best.
Because that's the one that Mom used to always get.
Yeah, I love it. Put some caramel in there and it's...
We don't have a Dunkin' out here.
Oh, I don't know where a Dunkin' Donuts is. I just got it at the store. You know how they sell like the containers of iced whatever?
Yeah.
I got one of those because I was like, butter pecan sounds good.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very like Augusty flavor.
Yeah, it's like you're dipping your toe in fall. But not quite.
You're not there yet, but you're thinking at
it. Yeah.
It's nuts, but it's not a certain kind of nut.
Exactly. It's not like the Christmas roasted nuts over the open fire type of thing.
Yep.
What's a fall nut, you'd say?
Pine nut? No, that's a
Christmas.
spring nut. Oh, it's Christmas?
Don't they sell pine nuts? And
I don't remember now. I don't know. Well, okay, so fall nuts. Acorns? Wait, do we eat acorns? Do people eat acorns?
No, I don't think so.
I've never had one.
Squirrels do though.
Yeah, they do. Well, they're edible by someone. Anyway, welcome to episode 26.
Oh.
We just stumble into every episode.
Hey, but I feel like it's more organic that way, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So your kids went back to school today.
Yes, they did. I really like their teachers, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Axel was like, today went by really fast. I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
I had to go to the dentist. And then I had to go grocery shopping, which is disgustingly the worst because it's so expensive.
That you got your iced coffee that way, right?
Yes.
So it pays off in the end.
It does pay off, but food is so much money.
Yeah. It's getting upsetting. Like I bought like 10 items the other day and it was almost $100. And I'm like,
how's that
really?
Even possible?
And dog food is so expensive now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've been having to buy I've been having to buy like the smaller bags, but they're still like $30 each. And I'm like,
Well, and you have big dogs, so they eat a lot.
yeah, two of them too. So
Yeah.
literally once a week, I'm spending $30 on dog food. It's
Is
bad.
it worth it to do the bulk then? Or is
Well, I
it the
mean,
same price?
it's the same price because I did the math and like, yeah, it's the same. Like there's no like discount for getting the bigger bag like there usually is.
Yeah.
The same.
Oh, that is the worst.
It really, really is. So I've been feeding them a lot of hot dogs lately. Like, or like leftover like meat or whatever. I'm just like
Yeah.
here because it's gonna go wasted. So
Yeah.
might as well make their food last.
When do your kids start school?
So they had their back to school night tonight. So they got to meet their teachers and find their classrooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought their first day was next Wednesday, but we were there and we heard their teachers being like, "Okay, we'll see you on Monday." And I was like, and it's, he turned to me, he's like, "The teacher keeps saying Monday. Are you sure they start on Wednesday?" And I'm like, "Yeah." The teacher's probably just confused.
The teacher.
I know. And I'm like, "I'm confident it's next Wednesday." And he was like, "Okay." And then we went into another classroom and the teacher was saying Monday. And I'm like,
You're like,
okay.
they're both confused. What are the chances?
I know. And I'm like, I'll just show up Monday and we'll see what happens. It's definitely the first day of school on Monday.
But luckily, they're going to the same school this time.
Yeah, that's gonna, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so much better. I don't have to sit in the freaking carpool lane for 30 minutes at a time at both schools every day.
Oh, yeah.
It was the worst. So
No.
I'm really excited. My kids are going to the same school this year. Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
great.
awesome. I think that'll be nice for them too, to know that there's someone at the school like that they're, is Aspen nervous or does she know kids that go to that school?
She knows like neighbor kids that go, but they're not in her grade. So for her grade, she doesn't know anybody. But I think she's gonna make friends easy.
I feel like she makes friends very easy.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
So Arya can probably start preschool next year. Well,
Next
she's
year.
3.
She's gonna be 3 in September. Yeah.
That's why I had it in my head that I was like,
Yeah.
3. But wait, if she's 3 now, then she could have started this year. That makes sense. I understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'll be nice when she can start preschool. Do you know if like there's because our elementary has preschool and it's
Like,
half days
I haven't seen anything about it.
and it's free, so that's nice.
Oh, that is nice. I know that when I lived in West Jordan, it was not free.
For the elementary preschool or any preschool.
Elementary preschool.
Really? At the public school?
Mm-hmm. They had me pay, I think it was like $60 a month or something for
That's
Aspen
weird.
when she
Ours
went.
was free.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Jordan School District, you know.
Yeah. Or it's just like my freaking neighborhood is the best and you should have moved here, but whatever.
Yeah, and you know, it could be that too.
I mean, that could be a possibility.
Could be. Hey, is it better if I do this? Like, can you hear me better like that? I just feel like
The closer it is to your face, the better.
like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I want to
just
get
worried.
a fancy holder thing for mine.
It's really nice, I'll tell you.
Yeah, because I'm just sitting here like acting like I'm
a rock star.
Sing you a song is what I feel like.
So I'm catching up on Stranger Things. I just want to talk about this for a second.
I
Guys,
love Stranger Things.
I have been out of the loop for so long, and to find out that they started, or like the first season was a few years ago, and I'm just now watching it, I'm like, how lame am I? You know?
You're very lame, but I also think you're just a little scared.
That's true. I did watch the first episode a couple times over the years. I was too nervous to start it because I'm just like, what if I have nightmares from this TV show? Like, what if I get into it and I have to watch it and then I have nightmares?
Have you had nightmares yet?
No, I'm happy to report it is not that scary. So I feel proud of myself for watching a scary show.
Yeah, I think it would probably be worth me watching it all again because I haven't seen them in a while because they took that break over COVID
Right.
for the last episode or last season. So it's been a while since I watched the first ones, but oh, it's so good. Well, so
I don't
I
know.
know your favorite characters. Share it with
Right.
our friends.
Yes, I think my number one favorite character is Joyce. Every scene that she's in, I'm just like my eyes are glued to her because I just love her character so much and her
Yeah.
acting. Which I got upset because online people were saying that her acting isn't good, and I'm just like, I disagree.
I've
It
never
is so
seen
good.
anyone say that.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it somewhere. I can't remember if it was like TikTok or Facebook or what. But
It
someone's like,
has to be
Winona
TikTok because
Ryder, blah blah blah.
people are so rude on
Yeah,
TikTok, I swear.
people really are. Yeah. But anyway, I love Joyce. Joyce and what's his name?
Hopper?
Hopper. I love Hopper.
Me too.
Love him.
Dustin.
What's that kid's name? I am not good with the names.
Dustin, the one that has the curly hair and the crazy
Yes.
face.
Dustin. Yes. And
So cute.
did you see that there's the Comic-Con coming?
Uh-huh.
And he has a photo op
Oh,
scheduled.
really?
And I looked at it and it's already sold out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Dang.
And it was like also the most expensive one.
Oh, of course it
For a
was.
reason, probably. But anyway.
He's so good. Like his
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that like their characters are just really well thought out, I think, and who they picked and
Yes.
the personalities of who they
Casting.
picked. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only person I'm not a big fan of is Millie, who
Millie.
plays
Oh,
11.
11. I'm warming up to her.
See, I liked her character, but the more I see Millie Bobby Brown in interviews, I'm not the biggest fan. Like I don't not like her, just not I'm not the biggest fan of her as an
Like as a
actress.
person.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Humbleness goes a long way.
I really love the actors and actresses that like just come across as humble and like they don't want or need the attention, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm also just like I'm just jealous, Kay, that people have talents and I don't.
Right. Like you're just making money off of your talents. Okay.
Must be nice.
Yeah, just living the dream over there, aren't you?
Anyway, now that we're 25 minutes into this.
Now that we've warmed up.
Yeah, right? Do you want to hear my story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kidding. Yes, I do.
I guess that's what we're here for. Okay, so this one's a little short.
Okay.
But still important.
Right.
To talk about. Okay. I got a lot of my information from local news like Fox News, KSL, obviously, Get Part Daily, and then like entertainment magazines like Oxygen and People Magazine.
Okay.
And stuff. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Various news outlets.
And this is going to be a cautionary tale, I say.
Oh.
But I feel like both of us may have some experience with. Anyway, don't worry.
We have some experience in the issues at hand.
Well, no. I wouldn't say experience, but I feel like we've been in troubling situations that we could relate maybe to this.
Okay. Let's see what that's about.
Okay. So Lily Conroy was born April 18th, 2005 in Monterey, California. Okay. She and her family moved to Springville, Utah in 2012 when she was 7 years old. She made a lot of friends and had a big personality, which caused many kids to gravitate towards her and her energy. She was a big hit at girls' camp. She was one of those. Okay. And if you don't know, what girls camp is if you didn't grow up LDS.
Crest.
Yeah.
Our camp was called Oakcrest, and we had
and
all the hoodies and all the t-shirts.
So fun. And I always wanted I wanted to be a camp counselor, and I wanted my name to be Tinkerbell.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I won Miss Congeniality in my group.
I'll have to say, out of all of my experiences in the LDS world, Oakcrest was the best experience I ever had.
I loved Oakcrest. I really did.
Because even though we were like there for churchy stuff, we still were able to like have fun, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't like so heavily spiritual.
Yes, exactly.
It was all girls, and it was just like fun activities, and you like
there's rope courses, and
like,
we learned like fun songs to sing, and we made our camps.
Which I unlocked a memory the other day.
Which one?
Do you remember this song that we used to all sit in a line? It goes, he is my Mormon boy, he is my pride and joy.
No, I don't know this.
You don't know that one?
No, April, let's sing it for us, please.
I don't remember all the words, but it's like, he is my Mormon boy, he is my pride and joy. And then it talks about like someone to lead your house or something like that.
Oh, the patriarchy. No.
Patriarchy. It's like in my head, like right when I heard it on TikTok, because I'm a part of a lot of ex-Mormon TikToks.
Yeah.
But it like when I listened to it, I was like, it is like it's like blatantly like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like mind control through a song that all the girls are like, this is so fun, and we're just doing a camp song, and it's like
well, and also too, it's like, where were the leaders, you know?
Right.
Like, okay, 50-year-old Debbie, come on.
Right.
And we all had a Debbie.
Yes, we did. Okay. Anyways.
Okay.
So Oakcrest was great.
Yes.
But girls camp basically is just like scout camp, but for girls.
Yes. And it's not always religious. It just kind of depends on what you sign up for.
Yeah. Also depends on your ward, because when we did like ward girls camps, it wasn't always super spiritual until the campfire was lit, and then it was like spirit.
And the bishop shows up.
Yeah. It's like,
hey,
everybody bear their testimony, and you're like,
you mean bury my testimony?
or you mean just oh, that scared me. Sorry.
What?
I thought there was someone behind me, but I think it's just their sprinklers.
Oh.
I don't know. Okay, anyways. Or just recite the same thing you've said since you were 8 years old, right?
Right.
Okay.
We are daughters of our Heavenly Father.
I know.
Loves us.
And we love him. We will stand as witnesses of God in all times and in all things and in all places.
We will
stand as witnesses?
Yeah. We will learn to accept and act upon these ordinances.
Hold on, ready?
Okay, ready? We are daughters of our
Heavenly Father
who
loves
us, and we
love
him. We will stand as witnesses
of God
to protect
times.
At all times
and in all things.
Things.
And in all
places.
We will stand. Wait. That's as far as I can go.
Dang. Hey guys, we know a little bit of sign language.
That's like the only sign language I've ever known. And it was because I don't know. Anyways, okay. Wow. That was the biggest tangent. Anyway, she was one of those like super like hyper girls at girls camp, basically, like just people flock to her, right?
Yeah.
She also worked at Maggleby's restaurant for 2 years. She was well loved by coworkers and her customers, and she would always give like a family discount, saying, "Oh yeah, this is my
One of
uncle."
those.
Okay, so she was also a girl who lived her life how she wanted so naturally. She would sneak out of the house, as all
Mm-hmm.
teens do.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you ever sneak out?
yeah. Well,
When?
there is this one time in 8th grade that I snuck out and ran away to Michael's house. Do you remember that?
Did mom know about that?
Yeah, Josh came and got me. Brother Josh.
I don't think I do remember
Let
that. But
me
you
tell
got
you the most
caught?
embarrassing story. And
Okay.
I feel shame about it even now. I was
One sec.
actually okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel really stupid. Like thinking back, I just like I'm so embarrassed. Okay. So Grandpa Peterson was at our house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so this goes way back in time.
It was 8th grade and we hadn't seen him for a couple years and he just shows up and like
Okay,
we
it's
were
one
all
of
just
those
kind of like
visits.
bluff, you know,
So we have a grandpa that we don't see very often. And
or ever.
yeah, and he just kind of gives off a vibe.
Yeah.
April, go ahead and tell your story.
Okay.
So that was just my own little insert. I don't
Yeah.
want to say too much, but just
So so I left a note on the dryer in the garage and I said, I'm running away. I'm gonna be at Michael's house and don't follow me or something like that. And I was just like, I just don't feel loved or whatever dramatic 8th grade situation my brain was in.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm running away to Michael's house. So Michael rode his bike from his house, was like 3 miles away.
Yeah,
No,
I
more
remember.
than that. 5?
Oh man, that had to have been because that was about 114th or 110th to 98th. So about
Yeah.
12 blocks.
Anyway, far away for
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
he rode his bike all the way to our house.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little backpack of clothes, and I got on the pegs of his bike, and he rode his bike all the way to his house again. And
Yeah. With you on it.
yeah, and then we were all in the backyard, like a big group of friends. It was Michael and Angela and like all the
Yeah.
troubled kids.
Yes. The middle school gang that we used to hang out with.
Yeah. And I was just like feeling all badass and I was 14 and I was like, yeah, my mom can't tell me what to do.
I'm a free soul.
Yeah. I'm free and living my wildest dreams. And
Right.
so then like 20 minutes later, probably not even that, but 20 minutes later, brother Josh walks into his backyard pissed. Like he was pissed. And he's like storms, he's like, get in the car. And I almost shit my pants. I'm not even kidding you. Like it was prairie dogging at this point. And I was
you're like, should I get in the trunk?
Yeah, I was like,
you're gonna kill me.
oh my gosh. And I said, I remember saying no.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I got balls. I was like, no. And Josh was like, get in the car. And so I get in. I'm like, bye, guys. You know, I'm like, ugh, how lame is this? That I get in the car and it was like silent the whole way home. And he was like, well, and then I remember him saying, like, that was so stupid. And I was just like folding my arms and looking out the window. And I remember getting home and mom was so mad because grandpa was there who never visits.
Right. And like that happened to happen the time it's there. So mom has everything under control.
Right. And it's funny because one, chose the very worst timing. But 2, in my head, I was like, she's distracted.
Right. She's busy.
Yeah. So this is my perfect opportunity.
The guest to attend to.
Yeah. But now I'm like, how embarrassing is that where I'm just like, thinking that I'm gonna be
I think that we all had those moments.
for real though.
Yes, there's a peek into mine in April's uh teenage years, our
Yeah.
angsty years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's funny because I wasn't even that angsty of a child.
You just
Like
had a moment.
I feel like I had like a split second compared to most people.
Yeah, compared to mine.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
compared to
won't
your
get into
experience.
it.
Well, yeah, well, I think we might get there, but
Well,
anyway,
eventually. Just stay
eventually.
tuned.
Yeah. Okay. So her parents eventually had to install security cameras to know when she left the house and like monitor what she was doing. But
Mm.
as when there's a will, there's a way for a teenage
Mhm.
girl, and she was
Mhm.
still able to avoid the cameras.
Right.
I mean, you figure it out. Okay, so Lily was in her junior year last year at Springville High School and had begun dating Maseo Conga. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
He was 19, so he had graduated high school the year before, and
How old is she now?
she's 17,
Okay.
and he was 19.
So she was like a sophomore when he was a senior, and then he graduated.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, her and Miss so Lily and Maseo had grown up in the same neighborhood, right? They were
Mm-hmm.
in that same Springville neighborhood in the same ward. Their families knew each other.
Oh, so they're LDS.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was on the football team and she played softball and volleyball.
Okay.
Um, so as all high school relationships are difficult to navigate, right? I
Mhm.
mean, the drama, the
The
theatrics,
drama
and the drama.
and the theatrics.
Yeah, right. Um, like it's just it's not surprising when they end, right? It's just
Yeah, yeah.
especially where she's still in high school and he had graduated, it's
Yeah,
likely that they're going to go their separate ways,
for
right?
sure. Because he's like, an adult now.
Right. Yeah, he's like moving on
And
and
she's going to Spanish class every
yeah,
day.
and she's like,
So,
I'm in sixth period and I
right.
cannot go and get food, but I will in seventh period because it's math and I hate it. Just kidding.
Right. I'll
Okay,
select that one.
yeah, who cares? Um, anyway, so yeah, it got rocky, obviously.
Yeah.
So, on May 17th, 2022,
Oh, shit.
so
Good.
May 17th of this year, Lily and Maseo broke up. I know.
No.
Did you see it coming? I did. So the
They broke up.
conversation did not go well, right? Um,
Okay.
the exact conversation is unknown currently. But we do know that Maseo threatened Lily for breaking up with him.
In what way? Like with her life or like with
Yes,
like
violently.
blackmail or something?
No, like violently
Oh.
threatened her. And
Oh,
yeah,
oh no.
so that's on May 17th, right?
Yeah.
May 18th, the next day at
Mm-hmm.
3:15
Mm-hmm.
p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
Maceo's family reached out to Springville police and requested a welfare check on Maceo and Lily. It was said that there may be a possible situation and a firearm is missing from their home.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wait, so did he have his own place?
No, he lived with his family. So the welfare check was asking for them to find them. Like
Oh, I see.
wherever they are, hey, they're not like something's happening and there's something missing from our house. Can you
Oh
help us?
no.
Okay.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
the police were on the lookout for Maceo's vehicle. And at 3:19, so 4 minutes later,
Yeah.
after that call from Maceo's family,
Mm-hmm.
officers headed to Springville High School and didn't find anyone there. Okay. Soon
Okay.
after that, Lily's phone pinged placed her at a Springville convenience store. So at a gas station. Okay, so all available officers in the city, because there's a possible firearm, all available officers in the city went looking for the two at this convenience store, but they were gone. They weren't there.
Okay.
So all the officers that showed up at the convenience store fanned out in a 4 to 6 block radius, and at 3:43 p.m., Maceo's mother called the officers and said he let her know that they'd be at Hobble Creek Park, which
Hobble
is like
Creek.
Hobble
I know
Creek
that.
There's like a waterfall hike, Hobble Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one. Have I been to that one? Anyway, sorry.
I don't
I know that. I know that hike, but I don't know if I've ever done it. Anyway, go on.
So when police arrived at Hobble Creek Park, they found the vehicle. In the vehicle, they found Lily and Maceo in the front seats with gunshot wounds to their heads. Yeah. Maceo was pronounced dead on the scene.
Gosh.
And police said that Lily was mortally wounded and was airlifted to the hospital and put on life support.
Okay, so okay.
So, one sec. Your face told me you didn't expect that.
What?
Your face told me that you did not expect that.
I mean, no. I mean, like a firearm, you can expect the worst, but like I figured there'd be more of like a hunt, like a try to find them, you know?
Right.
But no, they just found them right away, and that's just what happened. It's like, whoa.
So, okay, well, sorry. It's believed by police that Maceo shot Lily, then himself, at 3:30 p.m., just 15 minutes after his family requested the welfare check by police.
Wow.
Lily was not expected to survive. Her family kept her on life support so her organs could be donated to local recipients in need.
And that's so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh.
And on May 19th, the Springville community held a vigil for both the families of Lily and Maceo. On May 21st, Lily succumbed to her injuries and passed away, but in that she was able to save the life of another. I just like, you just never expect it to go that way, because like in my head, I think okay, in the angsty junior high school relationships and how they can get pretty dark depending on who
it is
you're with.
Yeah.
I was with some pretty, and I can't say I was even dating them because I was a child, but like when you're like going
talking
out with each other, yeah, like
meeting up at the local skating rink,
right? You just like they can get dark, like, and it's
too many emotions get involved, and you're like, whoa,
yeah, and then you're like,
it's emotions they don't know what to do with, you know, because you're not mature enough.
No, but then you just get like pressured to like stay together because
say I love you.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't even freaking know what that means, dude. You're like, oh,
right.
Gross. But then you kind of get, I don't know, for me, in that experience, I said yes to too many things because I felt like if I didn't, something bad would happen. And then
or like from that, your relationship with someone, you know, like if you reject someone for one little thing, like even just if it's just a kiss, you're like, oh, not yet. That can mean they break up with you the next day.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you're like, but
that's
now
not what you
no one
want.
loves me. I thought we were gonna be together forever.
Right.
Oh,
so like lower your standards, and
I think a lot of lowering of the standards, getting into trouble I wouldn't have been in if I would have just done what I wanted to do. If I felt strong enough in my own self to say no to like not even like inappropriate things, but like sneaking out or you know, like I don't freaking want to be out at midnight. I'm freaking tired.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but because I
Yeah.
wanted to hold up my like I wanted to be cool. I thought that would make me cool if I was like
Yeah.
say yes to whatever.
Or for
I was,
whatever reason, you just wanted that one person to be
yeah,
your friend or be your boyfriend or whatever it is, you know?
whatever it is. But you always just get in trouble when you're trying to please someone else instead of like doing what you want to do. And I think
Please yourself first.
I mean, throughout life. Just kidding.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Anyway,
But I just feel like
yeah.
you never expect it to get to that point.
Right. Like
Even though
0 to
it's
60.
even though it's like all like highly emotional and like things are said, I always thought it was all talk, you know, when
Right.
but then I didn't want to be the one to be like, oh hey, I just got bit by a mosquito. One sec.
Oh. Well, there goes West Nile. All in your system.
Yeah, I'm gonna die now.
Yep.
This is the last time you're gonna see me. Okay.
Well, thanks for the stories.
Yeah. Let me be. So let this be my last words. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just never expect it to get to that point.
No.
But as a mom now, and I'm like, holy crap, can you imagine? Can you imagine your child, one, on either side, your child is hurt someone else because they got broken up with, and you're like,
right.
You gave up so much life for one person and one relationship that ended. Why? Like, it's not the end. There's so much more life to happen, you know?
Right. Like that was great, but move on. You know?
But then like
it's so easy for us to say now though, you know?
Well, yeah, but then you think
In hindsight.
as a mom too, like if your daughter or son get hurt by their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever because they broke up with them, and you're like, you couldn't have really thought that this was forever. Like,
right.
Or take it. Like, if they don't want to be with you, I'm sorry, but that's their decision. Like, I just
like you don't own someone.
No, it was avoidable.
Yes.
If that person had a little bit more like security in themselves and didn't hold so much weight to what their relationship was. But like, it's easy to say now when I feel like I'm more mature than I was when I was 17.
Right.
But it's just so sad because you're like, why? It didn't have to come to this, but as a parent, what could you say differently to help them through stuff like that? Well, I just thinking of Maceo's family, like how heartbreaking to think that your son, I see mental illness in this. But we don't know. I mean, we don't know the whole story of like what their conversation entailed, how their relationship was, because it is different from the inside than the outside. Because you can see, oh, they're so happy. Oh, he treats her so well. But there could have been issues, you know, violence or abuse or mental or emotional abuse going on. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
And
it could have been just as simple as like she was like, you know, I'm a kid still, and you have a job and like
you go
bills
date. Yeah, you go date. You're in college. Like,
or because he was 19, right? What if he was wanting to go on a mission? I mean, I don't know, but like, what if she was like, we can't be together while you're on your mission? You know, like who knows? But I think for LDS people, I know that's one of the biggest. Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems. What?
It was like a will you wait for me situation.
Yeah. It's like, am I important enough for you? It's just like, yeah. And then they get Dear John.
Yeah, they're like, Dear John, I am now out of high school and it's not going to happen. Okay. Right. But anyway, Lily's obituary says, quote, Lily was so full of confidence. How else could you explain her grandma sweaters, giant army boots, or her crazy skeleton earrings that she so often wore.
Oh.
She lived how she wanted with no inhibitions. Her outward beauty was only matched by her completely authentic personality and her unique sense of humor. Lily was survived by her 2 younger sisters and her parents. Lily's funeral service was held on May 27th in Springville, where lots of family and friends gathered to share memories of her and all of that.
Yeah.
For Maceo, the conversation between Maceo and Lily is still unknown. We don't know what happened between the 2 of them exactly, just know that he was very upset. But we can gather is that Maceo was just not in his right mind. He just wasn't. He snapped.
How could you be if you're willing to do that to someone?
Right.
No, you're not in your right mind.
So, but based on the research that I did, I can't say for certain if they were in an abusive relationship by one or the other person, or if Maceo was mentally and emotionally struggling, and I didn't have the tool and he didn't have the tools to handle his emotions in a mature way. But what I did find is some people found it appropriate to leave comments on Maceo's obituary tribute while saying the killer's parents supporting their rat son and his obituary should be taken down. But what I want to say is that we need to remember that Maceo left behind a family who's also grieving their loss and of their son and their brother. They deserve peace and time to heal. I just want people to show some compassion for his family, because they're also experiencing an incredible tragedy. They didn't see this coming.
They weren't the ones that did it.
No, but they called police.
Yeah.
They got the search going. Like, how long would it have taken for them to be found, you know?
Yeah, you know what I kind of wonder, which I don't think you really have the answers for, but I do wonder, like, what made them look for the gun? You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm not checking. Maybe I should, but, like, I don't check to see if my gun's there. You know what I mean? Then it gets locked up. So,
I wonder if they, and this is speculation on my part, but I wonder if they kind of knew that, like, something was off with him a little bit. Like, or maybe he came home and was, like, talking to them about what had happened. Like, she broke up with me, and this is what I said, and, like, and then maybe he, like, stormed out randomly, and so they just I bet it was an intuition thing. I bet you anything.
That's fair to say.
Especially if they had any inkling that of what he said to her when they broke up.
Right.
So I think it just depends on that, or one of his siblings saw him walk out with it.
Yeah. Or if it was locked up, if they saw that he grabbed the keys, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was locked up, but he's 19.
If it was in a safe, like, the safe door could have been open, or, you know, something like that.
Right.
So,
right. He's not just a child with a firearm. He's an adult.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
But, oh man, how scary.
I know. And it just makes me think, like, this doesn't happen all the time, but domestic violence happens in any relationship. Not in all relationships, but it could be any kind of relationship. As young
relationships. Yeah, exactly. Young, old.
Yep. And it could be a boyfriend girlfriend situation, girlfriend boyfriend boyfriend, any of the situations.
Husband wife.
Yeah, any of that. And so it's not unrealistic to think that it could happen as soon as high school.
That's so scary. Oh my gosh.
I know. And I mean, I guess the only thing that we could really do is to teach our children what to look out for, and on the other side, how to treat another person.
Yeah. Never make decisions on emotions. That's my number one rule.
But also, like, and I'm not parent shaming either, but, like, I feel like nowadays it's becoming a little bit less woo-woo, I guess, to send your kids to therapy if they need it, right? And so I kind of think that I genuinely think I'm gonna put my kids in counseling in junior high. Not
Yeah.
because there's anything wrong with them, but because if I don't have all the tools to teach them how to deal with their stuff, I
You know
grew
what
up as
though?
a girl, so it's different.
Right. Well, here's something that I noticed from Stranger Things. There's a scene or a moment where I think somebody goes to see a counselor, the cheerleader girl. She goes to see the counselor.
Hmm.
And that's when I thought about it. I'm like, when I was a kid, like, I think it was high school. So I remember my art teacher went to mom and said, like, hey, I'm worried about her because she's like really antisocial. And then mom put me in counseling right after that, like, but with the school.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, which this is like where like it kind of jogged my memory when I was watching Stranger Things. So I'm like, I thought the counselors were there to talk about my grades. Like I never thought they were there for therapy. So I think I misunderstood the assignment. Like I went there and like they're like, so how are things? And I'm like, fine. They're like, well, we see that you have an F in this class, and I'm like, yeah, because it freaking sucks. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, counselors are for therapy, everybody. I thought they were there to tell me my grades were bad.
To be
But
honest,
anyway.
same though.
Okay,
I
okay,
I thought
okay.
the school counselors were literally only there to talk about your grades and
Right.
to help you figure out the college situation.
Right.
That's
Yes.
all I
We're just
thought it
switching
was.
classes around.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
they're there for grief reasons.
Yeah,
They're
like I
there
can go to
for
them to talk.
feelings.
Since when?
Yeah. Like what? I never
So if
and
you're
I
a high
never
schooler,
I
go talk
never
to the
thought about
counselor.
it. Yeah, you can go to them and say, I'm having a
Yeah.
hard time at home, or
Mm-hmm.
hey, my boyfriend is being a psychotic weirdo and
Mm-hmm.
won't let me break up with him.
Right.
So yes, you
Yeah.
can use the tools that you have
Mm-hmm.
and take control of your situation and go talk to somebody. They have them at school for a reason. They may not
Mm-hmm.
be equipped to actually like help you long term,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they can help with giving you options of how
Yes.
to get help long term, or if it's literally a situational thing, they can help you
Mm-hmm.
with that.
Right.
Yep. I didn't
Yep.
know. I didn't
Me
know.
either. I learned it from Stranger Things. As an adult at 28 years old.
Well, but now we can share the wealth of information.
Yes.
Um, but if you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts, because he did hurt himself for hurt her
Yeah.
first and then himself. Um,
Right.
Call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Or if you're in Utah, call or text the number 988, where you can be connected to a trained crisis worker who will listen and provide support and share resources that may help you. It's as easy as sending a text, you guys. Like,
Oh, they allow texts. You don't
yeah,
have to call?
yeah, so you can call or text the number
Oh, I see.
988, and then
Nice.
you can have someone chat with you. Um, a message to teens, parents of teens, or literally anyone anywhere. It's important to know the signs of an abusive relationship early. Jennifer
Yeah.
Campbell, an executive director of Utah Domestic Violence Coalition, said in a KSL article, quote, violence can impact anyone, anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a home. It can be in any form of relationship where that power dynamic can come into play. The
Yeah.
Utah Department of Health did a study in 2019 and found 1/3 of our youth report having been in an unhealthy dating relationship. 1/3.
And I bet the other 2/3 are like, I never have had a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Yeah. What?
My mom doesn't let me do that.
I can't date till I'm 18. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
that's crazy.
more than 1/4 said they've been verbally or emotionally harmed in while in a relationship, and 1 in 11 say they've been forced to do something sexual.
1 in 11.
Yes. That's alarming. but I experienced that. I'm sure most people have experienced that. It
Well, you
doesn't
know
have
what
to.
though? I mean, if that was a survey that was taken, imagine like answering that question as a young person. At that point, you haven't admitted it to yourself. To
Yes,
be
that's
honest, you
true.
have
That's
not
true.
admitted it. Because there
Hmm.
are things in my adult life that I look back on that I'm like, or, there's things in my younger life that I look back on now that I'm an adult that I'm like, I didn't realize what kind of situation I was in, you know? Like
Right.
I thought I wanted something, but looking back, I really didn't. And
Like
it was just
not ready for
influence.
it. No, yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to name names,
So I
but
don't think that number's totally accurate, is all I'm saying. I
I
bet
bet
it's
it's
worse than
more.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet it's more. If they took
Yeah.
this as people who went to high school, like had already graduated,
Like after the fact.
I bet you anything that those numbers would be higher. Because I think you're
Yeah.
right. I don't think people are willing to admit, like, oh, no, I wanted to do that. That was like
Mhm.
I initiated or
Mhm.
whatever. No, I mean, like, I'm
Mhm.
sure there's a whole lot more. And either way, I mean,
Yeah.
girls or boys, I think that there are situations where they're both kind of forced into situations they don't want to
Yeah,
be.
totally. Yeah.
So, that's an alarming number. Teach your children how to say no
And no means no.
when
That's
they
the other
mean
thing.
no, they can say no.
And
Um,
stick to that answer.
yes.
Like, don't let them feel like they have to change that answer because someone's like, oh, but really though, like, oh, come on, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, peer pressure is a dangerous thing.
So, Campbell, the person in this article,
Yeah.
said it's important to look for signs like how many times are they texting you? Is there anything where you feel like maybe this is too much, or am I feeling uncomfortable with that attention? So like look for things
Mhm.
that are like red flags, right?
You
And
know,
like
I wish I was told this when I was younger because I do remember the frequency of texting was a problem
yes, and you
with
could
some of the
tell,
people I was with.
yeah, and you could tell the ones that like got too intense or too crazy were the ones that texted you constantly. Or another big red flag, they obsess over your schedule, who you're with, where you are, and they'll show up to where you're supposed to be and make sure you're there. I mean, that's excessive,
Oh, yeah.
but that
Like
happens.
tracking you.
Tracking you. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm at my friend Taylor's house. Oh, well, they go and do a drive by. Are you really at Taylor's house?
Yeah.
Like, it's
And
too
and then
much.
and like you said, like it brings you back to the why.
Yeah.
Like why do they care?
Yeah.
Why do they think I wouldn't be there?
It's a lack
Like
of trust. And if you don't trust
yes.
them, then it's not worth dealing with. It's
Mhm.
really not.
No.
Okay. Last little bit. If you or a friend are in a relationship that's unhealthy, abusive, or dangerous, please use the resources available to you to help
Mhm.
them or you. Um, you can contact the YWCA's Women in Jeopardy program at 801-537-8600. You could call the Utah Statewide Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-897-LINK. And then a 24-hour Salt Lake Victim Advocate Hotline at 801-580-7969. And for anyone who's not in Utah, the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. So I
Nice.
know that was a short story, but kind of long and like our,
We had a lot of input.
but it's just she tried to end it and it didn't. I mean, like she couldn't have known it would have gone to that. But
Right.
if you don't feel safe, I feel like at some point she probably didn't feel safe, right?
Mhm.
Especially where he threatened her the night before.
Mhm.
Don't get in a car with him, girl. Like, don't.
Yeah, or don't be alone with him.
No, if you feel unsafe, talk to your parents, talk to
Mhm.
a friend and say, will you go with me? Or
Mhm.
be in a public place,
Mhm.
like don't go anywhere remote. go and do something in a public place.
Yeah, listen, I tagged along to so many dates of April's, guys. It's okay to be a third wheel.
Okay. All right. Well, my story is done. I hope you learned a lot.
I did. Actually, I feel like we had a really good discussion about consent.
Yes.
And about dating as a teen and red flags.
Yeah, man, if I could do it all over again, the things I would do differently.
You know, if I could do it all over again, I just wouldn't have paid attention to any boys.
For real. Oh,
I mean, like romantically. I had a lot of really good guy friends that like I still think back about. I'm like, man, like they were such good friends, you know? But as far as like the romance, I just wish I just didn't.
You know what boyfriend of yours scared me the most? He was psycho.
And you know, he was just weird.
And like creepy. I'm sorry, that dude was creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm not proud.
No, that was
watch him listen to this too.
Right. Be like, can you imagine? Well, just you can beep out names. So like that way, like any names that we say that aren't like close to us, so you can just beep them out.
Okay, I'll beep that out. So yeah, you know who you are.
You know who you are, you freaking freak. You scared the shit out of me.
You freak. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll shut up now. You can tell your story.
Okay, let me get my notes up.
Is it a long one?
I mean, a little.
I wonder if my neighbors can hear me.
Well, this is a creepy. Well, shit. Hold on. This is a very haunted story.
Ooh.
So if your neighbors can't handle that, then that's on them. Okay. Are you ready for my haunted story?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So tonight, I am covering a location that Ghost Adventures has been to.
Ooh.
Sort of recently. And is also featured on a TV show called The Dead Files. You ever watched that show?
Files. I'm going to take a picture real quick. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I am
covering the Leslie's Family Tree Restaurant. Have you heard of it?
Leslie's Family Tree.
Leslie's Family Tree Restaurant. And it's located on 77 West Main Street in Santa Quinn, Utah.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
All right, so I did a fun little deep dive today because I was just like, what else can I put in my notes? And so I'm like, hey, it's on 77 West Main Street, and I know 7 is a good like number in numerology, so I wonder what 77 means. So I looked into it.
Okay.
Because I was just like, I wonder. And it's very interesting. So, in the numerology world, this address's number is 5 because 7 plus 7 is 14, and then 1 plus 4 is 5. Capiche?
But why do you have to add it so many times?
Because you want it to be 0 through 9. No, 1 through 9. For it to mean something, I guess.
So
although I did look into it, like I mean, okay, hold on, that's not true because 7 is, and I didn't put this in my notes, but 7 is considered a power number because it's 2 numbers that are identical to each other. It's a 2-digit number where both digits are the same, so it's considered a power number, which just means that it has more energy to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't put that part in my notes. I just put like the simplified number and what that means.
Okay.
So this address's number is number 5. And when I looked into it, I found that the number 5 on an address means that this place is usually a party house and it's very active and social. It's also a place where you may learn lifelong lessons.
Ooh.
And these lessons are usually about acceptance, freedom, change, and facing your fears.
Oh.
And do you remember earlier today when I asked what your house number was?
Yes.
It's because I want to know what your house number was, like your number for your house.
Okay.
And yours is number 3 because 2 plus 8 plus 1 is 12 and 1 plus 2 is 3.
My house number is 381.
Yeah, 3 plus 8 plus 1 is 12.
Gotcha.
And then 1 plus 2 is 3.
I gotcha.
Got
Okay.
it? So numerologists, based on the number 3, believe that that number has creative vibrations. So the number 3, or a number 3 home is a good place for artists and anyone in a creative field. But it's also, so creative field. But it's also a great environment for social gatherings, entertainment at home, and just general living life to the fullest.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Which I'm like, that's actually pretty fitting because you do have a lot of like gatherings at your house that I feel like always go well. You know, like there's never a fight in the kitchen. Like my house has had. So you know who you are. All right. So I looked into my number, and my house number is number 1.
Ooh.
That's 3 plus 5 plus 2 equals 10, then 1 plus 0 equals 1. So the number 1 home is a good place for self-employed people or single people, as the energy of the home encourages you to maintain your independence, autonomy, and personal freedom. In fact, it has exactly the right energy for someone starting a business, working from home, or just looking to discover more about themselves. Which I'm like, that's very fitting too.
That is.
I have worked from home in my job. I am a self-employed kind of person. So it's like, Anyway, so I thought that was kind of a fun fact, right?
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. All right. That's all about numerology. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's just fun. I got a lot of my information from a podcast called Paranormal Prep and another podcast called The Crooked Key Podcast. I saw OOKE.
Cricky.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain already.
Crooked and spooky.
Crooked Spooky Podcast. Just kidding. It's called The Crooked Key.
Okay.
All right. From these podcasts, what I gathered is that the hauntings at this location aren't specific to the building, but to the land that it's on.
Oh, okay. I feel like you could get that a lot in Utah. Well, kind of anywhere, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of bloodshed.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence in this, the history of this place.
Oh, for sure. So let's talk about the land.
Okay.
So Leslie's Family Tree Restaurant is in a little town that sits southeast of Utah Lake, in a town called Santaquin.
Okay.
This town was first established back in 1851 and was originally named Summit City because it sits in the summit between Utah Valley and Juab County, which I learned is Juab. Juab.
I feel like we said that at least once in our journey. Yeah.
I feel like we said Huab a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Anyway, depends on who you are, I guess.
Depends on how you like to pronounce your J's, you know?
Right. Okay, so eventually Summit City was renamed to Santaquin, which was named after the son of a Ute chief who had forged a friendship with the Mormon pioneers who were in the area at the time. But during that time, specifically in 1853, a war broke out between the Paiutes and the Mormon settlers known as Wakara's War.
Oh, wow. Surprising.
Yeah. Have you heard of Wakara's War?
No.
Have you heard of Walker War?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I remember in Utah history class, we learned about the Walker War.
Oh,
I remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember that? I do remember that vaguely. So I wanted to look into it a little bit, and I was pretty disappointed because here's the thing. In a lot of the places I found information for this story, they all refer to that war as Walker's War. And I remember it being called Walker's War when I was taking history class. So that makes me think that in the history books, they have it as Walker's War, right?
Yeah.
When you look into it, it's actually Wakara's War, because that was the chief's name who kind of like not started it, but he was the one that said, enough is enough. You know?
So we
And
whitewashed his name.
exactly. So I just got really upset by it because I found that the Mormons pretty much refused to pronounce the natives' names correctly and would often give them European names because it's easier. Which I'm like,
Oh,
anyway, so I'm calling it Wakara's War, okay? But in the
yes.
history books and on Wikipedia, you might find it as Walker's War. That's not
Wikipedia has it
correct.
as Walker's War
It
too.
has both,
Oh,
which
okay.
which actually is what made me find that it's actually Wakara's War. So I guess thanks Wikipedia, but at the same time I'm like, just don't even put Walker's War. Like, don't even put it.
Yeah, you'd think that the page would be Wakara's War, and then in the description would say also known as
You would think. You'd think. But anyway.
petition to change it on Wikipedia and elsewhere.
Right. I think I can't you change it as just like a nobody?
I think
I don't
you
know.
can, or you can like send a submission.
Submit it. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to do that because I was like upset. I'm like, really, guys? Really? If you know that it's wrong and you're still not changing it? Anyway. So Wakara's War. It started in July of 1853 and ended in May of 1854. So only lasted like 11 months or 12, 10.
Okay.
Um, at one point, a Ute chief who had befriended the Mormons, his name was Chief Guffitch, he secretly warned the Mormons that there was a group of young braves, including his son Santaquin, who were working on a plot to attack them.
Okay.
Not sure if that was during Wakara's war or if that was after, because it was a pretty short war. I don't
Yeah.
know if that happened before or during or after, but
Okay.
he did secretly warn the Mormons. He's like, hey, there's this group of young warriors who are gonna come and kill you guys, so you better like leave your camp. So the Mormons deserted their camp and their braves showed up to attack them just to find a completely empty camp.
Okay.
Chief Guffitch told the braves that these people were good and that the Great Spirit had alerted them to leave before getting attacked. And it said, the story goes, that from then on, it said that the group of braves, including Santaquin, showed a change of heart towards the white people, and there was a peace between the two groups. Which part of me just, I don't know if I totally believe all that, because it's like, you can't put words in their mouth, who knows if there's really peace.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't there. But in 1856, the community of Summit City told Chief Guffitch that they wanted to rename the city after him because they had saved them, right, from that warning. But he declined. Instead, he suggested that they rename the town after his son, Santaquin. So even though the two groups eventually made peace with each other, it's believed that the land was cursed by the natives who were forced out, and the curse targeted white settlers specifically, or Mormons specifically. All right, so now for some more recent history. The building was first constructed in 1905. And for about 50 years, it served as various different things like a post office, a Chevrolet building, like a gas station kind of thing,
Oh, okay.
a flower shop, and a bar. In the basement of the building for decades, different sources said that there was a gambling hall, boxing matches, and a brothel.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in the basement, which, by the way, the owner, which I didn't put this in my notes, but I did dig into some ancestry stuff. The owner at the time, like in 1930s, was a veteran who served, I believe, in World War I, who served for 5 years and was also in the boxing club in the army. And it's just interesting that the basement had the gambling and the boxing matches and the brothel. The other
Yeah.
part of it is that this owner was also LDS. So it's like a brothel and your LDS. Okay. Anyway,
Interesting. I feel like They only follow the rules
when people are
when
watching.
it's Sunday.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Right. So by 1974, the building was owned by a guy named Wayne Smith. And during his ownership, the building was divided into two sides. One side was a bar that he managed and operated. The other side was a flower shop that his wife managed and operated.
Oh, cute.
I know, isn't that cute? So, so Wayne is the owner, and Nan is the wife and the one running the flower shop. But sadly, Wayne died of a heart attack in 1984.
Oh.
So the ownership got passed on to his wife. Okay. And their daughter, Leslie Broadhead, stepped up after her father's death, and with her brother's help, they started construction on the building and ended up turning it into a restaurant for their mother, who happened to be the school lunch lady. So they did this for her mom. I
love this story.
What?
I love this story.
This is just so sweet. You're like, oh.
I know. Oh, so cute.
So they did this for their mom so that she could have a chance to be more creative with her like cooking, and so she can like broaden her menu, because you know with school lunches it's usually just like a scoop of vegetables and a scoop of meat and a scoop of whatever.
Yeah.
So they wanted her to be able to actually serve good food that people liked.
Yeah.
It was officially opened as a restaurant in 1986, and it stayed open until the pandemic of 2020.
No.
So that was the thing that took them out. Doesn't COVID just ruin everything? Like literally everything.
No.
I know.
Freaking COVID.
I know.
Ruined this family's legacy.
Right? Yeah.
What a bitch.
What a bitch. Yeah. My feelings exactly.
I'm so mad right now. Can we like I wish we could like rally.
Yeah.
Let's rally and get it back.
So no one knows if they're going to reopen or not.
Oh, okay.
The interesting thing is that I found a listing on Zillow for the place that was listed, I believe, in 2021. But it doesn't say like if it was sold or not. It just says the listing is no longer active. So I don't know.
They're keeping it?
Maybe. So yeah, I don't know if they're like trying to do something different or if they're just waiting. I don't know.
But it's not open right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well, let's follow them on their social medias.
Yes.
And keep the legacy alive.
They have some really grade A scones.
I could go for a scone. I haven't had a scone in a hot minute.
Right. Like, where's Scone Cutter when you need them? Right.
Gone.
Exactly.
We can't have Leslie's restaurant do the same.
No.
Is that what it's called?
Scones are cursed. It's not even the people, it's the scones.
If you sell scones, watch out.
Yeah. Know that it's not going to last long, okay?
Yeah. This is where dreams die. So.
Right. Okay, let's move on to the ghosts.
Okay.
So, a lot of different sources said that there is at least 100 ghosts in this building.
At least.
At least. Like a marching band worth of ghosts.
What if they were a marching band?
Well.
What a bunch of dorks these ghosts are.
Yeah, right? Like, they just want scones. God damn it. Give them what they want. All right. Rumors that the building has been haunted started long before it was a restaurant. So, like, it's been going on for a very long time, not just with Leslie's Diner or Leslie's Family Tree Restaurant. Even before then, people were saying that there was some activity going on.
Okay.
I don't have specifics. I just know that it started way before then.
Okay. So it wasn't a secret that there were ghosts, but there weren't specific stories back then.
Right. Which I'm sure I could have looked harder, but I didn't. So
okay. That's fine.
One of the most common sightings is of a young boy who many believed lived in the area and tragically died in a drowning accident in the canal behind the restaurant.
Oh.
And I saw I didn't put this in my notes, but like, I think it was Leslie. Yeah, I think it was Leslie who was quoted saying that this boy, she described him as having a bowl cut and had a very skinny face. And she said, which I'm like, rude. She was like, which really caught me off guard because people in Utah usually have chubby faces. And I'm like, like, what is that supposed to mean? I mean,
I sit here with my chubby face.
Me too. I'm like,
how?
Like, no, I don't.
I only have 3 chins. What are you talking about?
Right. All right. So that was just a quote that I ran across, and I'm like, I mean, kinda rude.
But don't you realize that you are in Utah? So
right.
Talking about yourself, girl.
So a woman in a blue dress is usually seen walking through the restaurant, and it's believed that she is. Sorry, I wrote this really. So she's seen walking through the restaurant.
Your face trying to understand your nose. I'm like, it's good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This woman in the blue dress, many believe that she's the one that likes to move kitchen utensils around. So if you see them, if you hear them clanking, if you see them clanking, it's her.
Or someone eating with them. So
right. Yeah, don't blame it all. Or the woman in blue likes to eat.
Don't we all? We're from Utah. We have chubby faces.
Yes. It's those scones, man. Those buttery scones and butter pecan. Butter.
It's just butter, really.
All right. So there are also children ghosts that are seen throughout the restaurant, especially in the meeting room, which the meeting room, I should have sent you pictures before we recorded so you can kind of see, but it looks like a second dining room because there's a bunch of tables, but it doesn't look like it's set up for catering people. It's more like a break room with like 10 tables in it.
Okay.
And a vending machine. So yeah. All right. So one time, someone working at the restaurant noticed that one of the clocks stopped ticking and the minute hand started to tick backwards. Like it stopped and then it started to tick backwards. And she said it did that for several hours.
And then it started going the right way?
I don't know. The sentence ended there. I'm like,
it happened for several hours, but then there's more.
Right. Finish that sentence.
But after the several hours were over, did it stop? Or did it go the right way? Or
did the batteries die after that? I don't know.
Did it explode?
Did it? Yeah, I don't know.
Or did they get bored and just stop watching it? We watched it for several hours and then we walked away.
Or did they just throw it away after that? Like, oh, it doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Several times, Leslie and her daughter Bobby have come into the restaurant in the morning just to find that the chairs were stacked on top of the tables, like poltergeist activity. Several times.
That's scary.
Yeah. Bobby, who is Leslie's daughter, she is apparently the family's skeptic, but she even says that there are a lot of unexplainable things that have happened on the property. And she was quoted saying, "If we heard a door slam shut, I would try to make that same noise, but I never could." End quote.
See, that's when you can't replicate it, you're like, how, like, you can't argue it.
Right. So customers at the restaurant have claimed to also been given food by a ghostly waitress.
How?
No more information than that. That's all I could find.
Elaborate.
Right. It's like, what do you mean though? Like she disappeared into the wall and like was your food ghostly?
How did she hold it?
Yeah.
And no one just saw her pick it up from the kitchen and walk it out. There's a
Well, you know how
lot
like
of
objects can be moved. I guess ghosts can still do that in front of you if you don't know they're a ghost, but it's also like,
but
where
isn't
are they
that
getting energy
poltergeisty?
from? Yeah, it could be, I guess.
But like if you're at like okay, to see a ghost, usually they are not as you and I are visually.
Well, sometimes, I don't know. Some people have said like it literally looks like a person and then they're not there. You know what I mean?
But how is that possible for some but not all of them?
I don't know.
God, the mysteries of the world I will
Right.
never understand.
But you know what? It does make me think like, you know how they say demons can take form?
Yeah.
Like, what if there's a demon and it happened to take form of a waitress? And what if the demon gave the people like poisoned food? You know? I don't know. Just thinking. Maybe they had like
mischievous.
food poisoning that night. Anyway, so some customers have said that while they were eating, they would sometimes even notice the pictures on the wall would sometimes sway back and forth on like by themselves.
Mm.
Or they would like tilt slightly, just go boop.
That would be kind of creepy to see. Oh my gosh.
Right. I feel like I would just be sitting there like looking at it like, is there an earthquake happening or
Right.
what? So there are some not so friendly ghosts on the property.
Okay.
According to paranormal teams who have investigated the restaurant, the place is dominated by two male spirits who recruit other spirits to make themselves more powerful. So take that.
So there's MLMs in the afterlife as well.
I guess. I guess so.
What a joke.
Yeah, I'm like, could you imagine being recruited as a spirit? You're like, hey, come on over here and haunt this place. It's like, but I already got my own thing going on over here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like what's the
Yeah.
like what are they being bribed with?
How does this benefit me?
Yeah. All right. So one spirit is a man whose name is Henry, and he likes to hang out near the bathrooms on the east side of the building. And he usually makes himself known by either scratching noises or by literally scratching you.
Oh, don't like that.
I know, and near the bathrooms too. It's like, what are you doing, bud?
Why are you so angry in here?
Right. I found a comment on hauntedplaces.org, and this comment was written by someone named Aspen. And there's a huge moth.
Oh yeah, I have bugs everywhere.
I don't know if you know, but I'm more afraid of moths than I am spiders.
Oh, that is opposite for me.
Oh, I see a moth and I'm like, don't move. It can sense fear.
Interesting.
I hate moths. Ugh, creep me out. Okay. Aspen said, quote, I've been to the restaurant only once to use the restroom. I remember while I was in the bathroom washing my hands, I felt something push me towards the sink. At first, I thought someone bumped into me, but nobody else was in the bathroom, and the door hadn't opened at all. Water had splashed onto my shirt and onto the mirror, so for sure, I was sure that someone had pushed me. Isn't that creepy? Oh
my gosh, yeah, that is creepy.
There is an entity of some kind that likes to hang out in the cold, dark basement. And it has a dark presence that doesn't like when people are in its space.
Mm.
According to a Salt Lake Tribune article that was written in 2012, there have been LDS priests who have come to the property to bless it. And Bobby, Leslie's daughter, said it for a while, it quieted the activity, but eventually it came back.
And
So
Bobby's a skeptic, right?
right.
Okay.
She was advised to contact a chief, like a native chief, to see if they could possibly lift the curse. But in the article, she said she wasn't in a hurry to do that. She said, quote, "It's really helping business. People really enjoy it." Which I'm like, I mean, yeah, but if these entities are stuck there, don't you think you want to like help them get out? You know?
Yeah.
Like what if it's cursed? Like this is my thought is what if there is really a curse like on the Mormon settlers, okay? And let's say whoever was in there at that time who was cursed is literally trapped in that location until it's lifted. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And she's like, well,
It's helping business.
it's fun for people to come and
Right.
experience the ghosts.
Yeah, it's like I get it in a way because it's like if you're a skeptic, you know, and you don't really believe it, but also too, like that's just such a bad look for the people who do believe, you know?
That, well, it's like kind of bad juju, bad karma is the intention
Yeah.
is
So
like,
it's kind of like
well,
you're asking for it then.
yeah, it's like, okay, well, how selfish of you.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of my vibe too. I'm just like, I don't really know if I like that. I mean, I get it, but it's also like, I don't know. It can rub people the wrong way.
I mean, I guess if you think about it though, like people who like to do like paranormal investigations, some
Mm-hmm.
people can look at the investigations as disrespectful, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like
And
there
they
are
can
people
be.
who don't believe in ghosts. They go and do these things and they're like, why there's nobody, I mean, like it's
Mm-hmm.
just an activity, but it's like, well,
Right.
I guess that's kind of hard because you just really, none of us know what's going on.
Right. Yeah,
Like we
exactly. You
don't,
can't, I mean, there's evidence, but you still can't prove it,
yeah.
you know?
Well, and you can't prove that they're stuck. You can't prove that they're,
Yeah. There's a curse even.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
or if you don't believe it, then what's the harm in
Yeah.
getting this curse lifted or have
True.
a Native American priest come and check things out? Like it won't hurt you at all. And it might
Yeah.
even bring business to know that, like, you know, you're working with Native
Yeah. Like
American
you're
spiritual
trying to do
leaders.
good
Yeah.
if it's possible, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where my morals stand, you know.
Yeah.
So I think we're on the same page, but
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the Ghost Adventures episode.
Okay.
This location was featured in season 12, episode 7. Okay, so here's what they experienced. So during their preliminary investigation, Zach and Barbara, so if you watch the show, you know who they are, they felt a presence and Barbara's heart rate immediately went up. So like she started feeling like her heart was racing.
Okay.
Also during their preliminary investigation, they got an EVP of a phrase, and that was "get out."
Ooh.
Also, Corey felt burning on her neck, and a handprint began to form. They also heard disembodied voices. During the investigation, they got more EVPs. They got one that said, "I'm next to Bobby." They got another, "get out." And they got, "we're coming back." Right? It's like, oh, what does that mean? Who's coming
Backstreet's back. All right.
Yeah. Hopefully. So
hopefully it's the Backstreet Boys that are back.
Right. Or hopefully they have the same vibe. Right.
Right. It's just a boy band. It's fine.
Yeah. No harm. So they were using a REM pod, which I don't totally understand, but a REM pod, and that began going off and intelligently began responding to everyone's questions, while at the same time everyone can feel the energy of whatever was talking to them.
Yeah.
Aaron began feeling a sharp static electricity go across his head, which makes me like, I don't know. I feel like electricity feelings are so bizarre. You know, even when talking about aliens last week or last episode, like just feeling charged like that, it's like, That's not natural,
Right.
you know? Ashley, she's one of the investigators. She said that she felt like something was pulling on the photos that she was holding, and that and at that same time, Zach felt the temperature drop. They also caught an apparition. A camera captured two light anomalies near Ashley during the investigation. Ashley started feeling overwhelming anxiety so bad that she started shaking and felt like she was about to have a panic attack. And that's kind of another common theme during investigations, is that it seems like whatever entity is around, it tries to make you feel the way it feels.
Oh,
If that makes
interesting.
sense. At this location anyway.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. They also heard a male voice come through. Doesn't really say exactly what they said. And then, oh, sorry. Okay, at one point, Zach started provoking the spirits, as he does.
As he
And he
does.
was telling the spirits to scratch his back. And on camera, a scratch mark started to appear on his back and specifically went through the skull of his tattoo. Like, it seemed very intentional of the placement and everything.
Wow.
And then Zach said the next few days after the investigation, he began, like, he just felt like he was very aggressive and mean. And he even had several nightmares, like, days after that happened, or
Oh,
after the
wow.
investigation.
Well, that's what you get for freaking being a dickhead.
Right. Exactly. I feel like a lot of these stories, like, you get what you ask for, you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't ask for things if you don't really want it.
Right.
Um, the host of the Paranormal Prep podcast, his name is Josh. And in the episode I listened to, he said that they did an investigation at the Leslie's Family Tree restaurant. And during their investigation, they used a spirit board, aka a Ouija board, along with fancy ghost equipment, and they had some wild experiences. So
Oh,
I
really?
went into more detail about their experience because they had like specifics, right?
Yeah.
So first, the guide that took them through the building suggested that they start their investigation by just sitting in a quiet, dark room and just kind of getting a feel of the energy, just to kind of like know what it's about, right?
Okay.
So they started that. They sat in a quiet room, and as they sat there, they started hearing knocks and thuds around them. Then Josh says that he started seeing shadow figures move, but could only see it in his peripherals. Which I wanted to ask you, do you remember in the house we grew up in South Jordan? Do you remember being on the mother-in-law apartment side of the house and seeing shadow figures?
No, I personally experienced that more in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there too. But I remember sitting over at grandma's often because, okay, at my and April's house, childhood home, we had a mother-in-law apartment for our grandparents to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
And our grandpa passed away shortly after we moved in, and then our grandma was there forever. But we often sat with her until late at night, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like laying on her couch and like same thing, corner of my eye, I would always see something like kind of peeking around the corner and then back up. And I just used to be like, who is there?
Yeah.
And I remember getting up and looking to see if it was like you or Heather or somebody, and it was never anybody. And I remember telling that to mom, hey, like I'm seeing something. And you know what she told me? She said, it's just your mind playing tricks on you. And so that's just what I thought forever. But then, like, you know, learning more about paranormal stuff, I'm like, I bet I was seeing stuff.
I bet you were. I kind of think that you have more sensitivity to stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I do too. But I think a lot of me just isn't sure. You know, I'm very like unsure if that's what I saw or if it's my mind playing tricks on me or if it was just something else. But I do think I am pretty sensitive to this kind of thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think too, like you can turn it on stronger. Like I feel like if you let it, then you could like experience more, but that's only if you really want to. Like,
right. You get what you ask for.
Yeah,
right?
like I wouldn't dive deep into that unless you were like ready to experience more without, you know.
Right, exactly. So during Josh's and his team's investigation, they were using a spirit box as well as the Ouija board. And the spirit box, at one point, a man's voice came through. I'm burping a lot, sorry. A man's voice came through the spirit box, and they weren't able to distinguish actual words. So they started asking questions, since it seemed like that voice was trying to communicate with them. And the weird part is they couldn't tell if it was just one man's voice or if it was multiple men trying to get their thoughts in, because it seems so random. They're like, this doesn't even sound like it's a full sentence. It's just like, and nothing specific, just very random. So they're like, we don't know if this is one entity or multiple or what.
Oh, it's muted.
Sorry. So all of that happened in the meeting room, which, like I said before, I think it's kind of like a banquet room or break room of some kind.
Okay.
I don't think people are actually served in there because it doesn't look like you would be served in there.
Yeah.
Eventually, the voices went quiet and they weren't really getting anything on their equipment. So they decided they would move on from that space to the main dining area to see what they might capture. So they went into the main dining room and they decided it was a good time to whip out that spirit board. They lit a candle and they actually spread salt across the board. And they said the salt helps ward off negative energy. So who knows?
Maybe.
And they also said that it helps the planchette move smoother across the board. So they all put their fingers on the planchette and they all looked at each other dead in the eyes and said, we're making a pact that nobody here is messing around, okay? Like, no one's gonna push this thing. Just put your fingers on it and that's it.
Yeah.
They did that. And finally, one of them asks a question and they say, are there any spirits in the area that want to communicate with us? And they waited so long that their arms felt tired. So someone asked that question again. They're like, okay, is there somebody that wants to communicate with us? And then finally, it started to move very slowly to yes. Then they asked, are you male? Then it moved to no. They said, are you female? It moved to yes. Josh said that he made sure to observe the other investigators' fingers on the planchette to see if it seemed like they were adding pressure to make it move around the board. And he said it was wild because he looked at their fingertips and realized that all of their fingers are pretty much hovering above the planchette, hardly even touching it. He said there was a few times where he even had to remind the other investigators that they had to actually be touching the planchette. He said, that was the most wild experience I've ever had, is what he said.
Wow.
Then they asked, what is your name? And it spelled out D-E-B. So Deb. They said, how old are you? And it moved down to the numbers and said 6. After they got that answer, though, it seemed like all the energy completely died. So they said, goodbye on the board, and they reset the board. They asked again, is there any spirit who wants to communicate with us? This time, the planchette moved with complete ease and more strength than it had before and moved to yes. So it had more energy to it.
Okay.
And it says, are you the spirit who made the little girl stop talking to us? And the planchette moved off of yes and then back onto yes, to say yes.
Yeah.
After the planchette kept moving, after that, the planchette kept moving around to random letters and numbers and everything. They couldn't figure out what it meant because it wasn't spelling out words or anything. So they're like, okay, let's just reset the board. So they said goodbye and they started over. They said, are there any spirits who are here and want to communicate with us? It moved to yes. They said, "Are you male?" It responded, "Yes." They said, "How old are you?" It moved down to the numbers and said 6'4", so 64.
Okay.
They said, "What is your name?" And it spelled out Takama, so spelled out Takama. They said, "Are you Indian?" And he said, "Yes." They said, "Are you a warrior?" It said, "Yes." And it said, "Are there any more spirits around?" It said, "Yes." They said, and I'm just going off conversation because there's so much.
Yeah.
So they said, do you know the little girl that we were talking to before? It said, "Yes." Do you have any friends? It said, "No." Are you the guardian of the little girl? It said, "Yes." So right after that, the energy died again, and they lost communication with that spirit. So they reset the board.
And it's like anytime the girl comes up, it dies.
Right. That's true.
That's interesting.
That's true. That is interesting. So this time, though, when they reset the board, they decided to take a break. Some of the investigators went outside. Some of them went to the bathroom. Some of them just hung around in the diner and just kind of like looked around at the pictures on the wall, things like that. When they decided to regroup, out of nowhere, one of the investigators begins laughing uncontrollably. And then
that is scary.
Right. And then the laughter spread. So everybody in the room was laughing hysterically, tears in their eyes, bellies hurting, laughing over nothing at all. The one who started laughing first was laughing so hard that she had to excuse herself outside to gather herself before she can finish the investigation. Eventually, they all gained composure to continue on the spirit board.
What does that mean?
I'll get there.
Okay.
It said, "Are you male or female?" It said, "Male." "What is your name?" It spelled M-O, so Mo. "How old are you?" It spelled, or it typed out 5'9", so 59. They said, "Are you the reason we were laughing so hard?" It said, "Yes." It was at this point they were able to conclude that this spirit wasn't sober and was drunk or possibly on drugs, because I guess it was trying to spell words, but it's spelling it incorrectly and not really making sense. And Josh, the guy on the podcast, he was like, you kind of just get this thought in your head and everybody kind of confirms that same thought, and you're like, okay, we all are on the same page, this guy's not sober.
Okay.
Like they all kind of concluded that, like, okay. And then they all, after the fact, were talking about how they felt, and they're like, I felt drunk, like when I was laughing so hard and I didn't know why, like I felt like I wasn't sober. So they all feel like that spirit basically took over their emotions and made them feel the way he felt, if that makes sense.
Okay.
After they talked to Mo, another spirit came through who talked about an ancient shaman lady with a name that no one knew how to pronounce, and the spirit said that the other spirits had high respect for the shaman.
Oh.
While they were talking about the shaman, the candle that they had lit next to the board began flickering like crazy. Throughout their investigation, they went to different areas of the restaurant and got all kinds of evidence of paranormal activity. And I highly suggest you check out their episode about this location if you want to hear more, because I don't want to spoil all of it,
Yeah.
Give them the listen if you want to hear more about his investigation. But they got a ton, and there was more about the Ouija board. They got more communication from other entities. But I think it just goes to show there's a wide variety of spirits at this location, like all the way from warriors to little girls to old drunk men,
So
yeah.
On this episode, or that podcast episode, did they have like recordings of anything?
No, not that I could hear. It was just a guy like just kind of
explaining it.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he took notes throughout the investigation and then made a podcast episode. Like, I think that's kind of what it's all about, is like he does it and then tells you what happens after.
Oh, too bad they didn't record it. That would have been cool to listen to.
I know. There might be a YouTube video. I didn't look, but Definitely look up the Paranormal Prep. They had a
Okay.
lot of cool stuff. Also, the Crooked Key podcast, they had some info too.
Okay.
That's my story for Leslie's Family Tree
That is
restaurant.
awesome. I hope they open back up.
Me too.
But that's crazy. I feel like a restaurant, I wouldn't really expect it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
But that's cool. I think I want to figure out where it is and see if I've seen it before, because I don't know if I've seen it before.
Let me send you a picture real fast. Hold on. Then maybe you can tell people what it looks like. Hold on.
Oh, no, I've never been there. I've never seen this place before.
It doesn't even really look like a restaurant from the outside, does it?
No, but it looks like a saloon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a log cabin type vibe. And
Oh,
then
that
yeah.
is cool. I hope they open back up. If they do, we should go eat there.
Yeah, we should. I mean, even if they don't open up as a restaurant, or if they just like left it all there and just did like ghost tours, like if that's really where they want to get their business, they can
Yeah.
make money off of that. I mean, not like a ton, but I
I love
mean,
that they have all these old pictures on the wall too.
yeah. So that's all of the Smith family
That's
or
cool.
whatever. Yeah.
I like it.
I have a ton of pictures, so I'll definitely share that on Instagram when we release this episode. But
Awesome.
yeah,
That's a good episode. I liked it.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit hesitant to cover this one in the beginning, like when we were first deciding to do this podcast and I was getting my list of like locations to do.
Hmm.
This is one that I was like, oh, I don't know, because like there was, from what I saw, there was a lot of controversy about it. I think it's when the Ghost Adventures episode aired or something. I don't
Oh,
remember, but there was controversy because people were like, "Oh, like they're just trying to get attention. It's not really haunted. Like they're just trying to get people to their restaurant, whatever." And it's just like, I don't know. Like I feel like business owners are usually hesitant to share that kind of stuff,
I
you
kind
know?
of feel like it either improves their whatever,
Mm-hmm.
their business,
Their traffic or
or it
whatever.
makes it worse. Like,
Right.
or no one goes there. But I
Yeah.
also think that like I feel like this seemed to have more evidence than a lot of other stories.
Yeah, I
That
agree. Like
like
almost as much as Fear Factory.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like I don't know. I think it's I feel like there's enough evidence that I'm convinced.
I agree. And you know what I kind of want to do? Because like it is closed, and they just say that the land that it's on is haunted.
Hmm.
Who's to say we can't just show up on the side of the road with our equipment? You
Yeah.
know, like if it's the land and it's not the building, then can you still do an investigation from like the parking lot? I don't know.
That'd be interesting. I keep seeing my dogs roaming around and it's freaking me out. I'm like spooked for some reason.
Oh, I forgot to add it in my notes, but I like made a mental note. I did see somewhere that at this location also, there are often sounds of an animal running across the room
Hmm.
that is larger than a rat or a mouse, maybe the size of a dog. And I was just like, that reminds me of our last episode. Wasn't it the last one where you heard something like run across you, like behind you?
Yes. And it was like my dogs were in front of me and I heard something run like big dog size run across
Yeah.
behind me and it wasn't anything there. But now I think they're hunting a mouse.
Yeah, I don't know. It just made me think of that because I'm like, April had that the other time, like the
Yeah,
last time we recorded.
it
I
was
can't remember if that was our On Deck at Dusk episode or if that was the last episode. I don't remember, but
it
definitely
was
made me think of
it
that.
was the last one, I think. Gumby's being a freak. My gosh, he's so annoying.
Uh, well, thanks
Anyway,
everybody for listening.
yeah, thanks for listening to episode 26.
Yep.
And it took us a while.
That's okay. An hour and a half. I mean,
yeah, we had a lot of tangents, but I mean, what's a podcast without tangents, right?
If you don't like it, just don't listen to us.
Yeah, I
Please
mean,
listen.
there's many of those people who stopped.
Yeah. But there's also people who have started listening. So hello.
Hello and welcome. And stay.
Please stay. Please come back. We promise we're going to get better eventually.
I'm not going to promise that.
Right. I mean, that would kind of take away from our authenticity.
It would take away from our charm.
Our charm. Yep. That's what it is.
Unprofessional charm.
Yes. Right. Okay. Well, yeah.
Find us on the interwebs.
Right.
And on the podcast places.
On the streets. Find us on the web and on the streets.
And
if you have any personal, paranormal, or true crime stories,
yes,
please visit our website at hauntandcold.com and you can submit it there.
Please submit stories. We can just read them for you, or we could, if you so choose, we could talk about it on a meeting and we can have it recorded and made as a episode.
For sure.
Or not.
Or not. You decide. It's your adventure. What do you want to do?
What does your heart desire?
Okay, well, next time I'm going to tell you guys about how I feel about the end of Stranger Things, because I know I'm going to get there by the next time we record.
I cried.
You cried? That's telling.
I cried for many reasons, though.
That's true. There's a lot of like mommy moments that I'm like, yeah, the mother's love, you know, or father's love. There's even Officer Hobbs or Hopper.
Yeah, I love Hopper. He's just a good one.
Yeah,
he's a good egg.
Yep.
Well, I am now tired and delirious.
I know, it's like this is a while after our bedtime. So.
Yeah. Well, right. Thanks for listening. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.
I gotta poo. Okay, bye.